This program contains true stories of rescues.
It's First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid.
Hello, and I'm Kelly Kinkaid, and welcome to First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid. Today, my guest is one of my favorite instructors that I like to give the look at when I'm doing my soul cycle. He's a personal trainer. He's the owner of a modeling agency, and he's one of the top soul cycle instructors. Welcome, Junior Kennedy. Welcome, Junior. You know,
God, Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm like, you're Mr. Turn the Knob one more time. That's your name for me. I'm like, turn it again and turn it
Junior,
again.
they don't want to turn on this wheel.
Welcome to the show. You know, it was so important when I got my Soul Cycle bike during the beginning of the lockdown of COVID.
Yeah.
Queen Afua said it's not the lockdown, it's called the retreat.
The retreat.
So we've been in the retreat for a year now. So I got my Soul Cycle, and you know, I'm new to cycling or spinning. Mm-hmm. My question to you, because you are an instructor now, when did you fall in love with Soul Cycle?
From the first class, to be honest with you. The experience that I was able to go through in that first class was like no other thing. So I've ran track all my life, and during the time when I took a Soul Cycle class, it was a friend of mine who was training to be an instructor, and he had invited me to just take his community ride. I was like, absolutely, you know, I run track, I'm doing it pro at this point, so there's absolutely nothing that could challenge me. Like, I'm so fit, I'm in shape, but the most memorable thing from that experience was the fact that I was in a room of complete strangers who were supporting me in a way that I didn't feel judged. I wasn't being watched. I was just celebrated with the kind of energy and the music and the rhythmic movement of it all. I was like, oh my God, this is track and field on a bike. And I fell in love.
Well, I do say, because you say that defeat is not an option. I'm sure you didn't get in that room and say, I'm going to quit in here. What do you tell your first time students when they come in there and they want to stop?
Much like everything in life, it's going to have its challenges. I think it is unfair to yourself to think that you could walk into something and master it. Everything takes time. Everything has a progress to it. So you got to allow yourself that sort of patience and that sort of time to acclimate to the process of Soul Cycle, because the truth of the matter is, no matter what level you are at in Soul Cycle, there's something there for you. There's something that allows you to feel a sense of pride, a sense of self, and a sense of accomplishment. So just take the process with you, and I promise you, you'll be in great hands.
So we talked about you are an athlete, because I think once an athlete, always an athlete. But you were track star, and you had an injury that you kind of had to shift gears. Yeah. And I'm sure that was kind of could cause depression, could cause like, what am I going to do now? You've dealt with adversity, and I love your monologue. Like all your classes, you have a theme. You talk about love. You talk about never giving up. Is that something that you create on your own? Is that something that Soul Cycle provides for you all to kind of improvise?
Well, Soul Cycle does a good job of opening up the portal to self. As we go through training, what Soul Cycle does is it creates an opportunity for us to soul search. So in the means of soul searching, we get to discover parts of ourselves that we've suppressed for so long. So with that, yes, it might be a Soul Cycle thing, but more importantly, Soul Cycle gave us the tools to say, Here's an opportunity for you to just go out and explore yourself and then take that with you in class, because everyone wants to know who you are, the experiences you've gone through, and how you've overcome them, so much so that you become so much more relatable and so much more access to other people.
What you said you fell in love with Soul Cycle in the first class, but what made you gravitate towards, from taking a class to being an instructor to liking spin, to be a spin instructor?
Well,
It's bigger than spinning, because Soul Cycle is definitely, but what made you go, that's what I want to teach?
so it's interesting, and a lot of people won't believe me on this. So I did take my first class, loved the experience, but I was still stuck in my ways of like, okay, track and field is for me and I'll stay there. Got injured, then decided to take life into a different direction. I started making investments and things, but nothing was going right for me. I guess you could say God knows how to work, right?
Yes, he does.
Nothing was going right for me. I tried everything, every single thing. And I called my friend again. I was like, I'm in a position where I just don't know what else to do in life. And I just want to come back to ride at Soul Cycle to take me out of the element of the stress that I was going through. And he was like, oh, absolutely. Not knowing that his intention was not just to make me ride, his intention was to make me become an instructor. So I'm thinking I'm going through this experience, I was like, oh my God, Soul Cycle is like very important. You have to go through this like initiation process before you become a rider. And lo and behold, I was in transit to being an instructor, and they were like, we want you in a training program. And then it became my love. So though the experience is what I fell in love with, Soul Cycle also saw something in me in terms of me being a leader in that sense of fitness, and was like, you know what, we think this is a position that you should have. And
Wow.
work through the process, and lo and behold, they were correct.
So, and I love during this year, Soul Cycle did a great Black History Month awareness, and I took the class where it was, and I'm new, so I'm making sure I get the names right, but it was you. Tanisha was
Tanisha.
she was an instructor, and it was like two other instructors in there.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
just love that Soul Cycle and Varus, they felt comfortable of giving you all freedom just to talk, that it was all Black. I loved it.
Yeah,
And it was like, it wasn't threatening, because you had other people of other hues in there, but you all were about, it's Black love. This is what we're doing. And it was free. And it wasn't just one class. It was classes.
Classes.
Yes, and they're still up and available if you want to take it. That commitment that they've done for you all, I love that. I want to speak about the just support amongst all the instructors. Is that all organic? Like, do you all have to sit in the room once a month? Because it seems very genuine. How did that start?
It is super genuine. The Soul Cycle embraces culture in and outside of the writers, and in terms of the corporation itself. And that's something that I love about Soul Cycle. They stand for their values. We stand for our values. I'm not going to be excluding myself from this brand.
Right.
So Equinox Plus was only a great segue into allowing the greater world to see that. And then Tanisha did a great job of connecting all the instructors that, she loves and respect. And she was like, I want you guys to ride. So that was super organic. We didn't have to sit in a room and talk about the class or prep for the class and say what we're going to do or say or how we need to act. It is an experience where we are able to be us on all counts. And that's what Soul Cycle represents. And that's what Equinox Plus represents. Culture in its greatest facets.
I love it. I love it. So, look, I was going to say pre-COVID, you all got a chance to be with the students and the people, and you got a chance to have that connection. How has COVID changed that and helped you all grow as a company, as an instructor?
If anything, it just got us closer. It,
Right.
it it opened up the door for us to now, just like the world, now start to identify some of the smaller things that used to affect or other peers. And which is why I kind of love the retreat of the world,
Yes.
because we are now able to see even the minuscule things that we have for so long went, you know what, it really doesn't matter. You know what, it really doesn't matter, because those small things fester into a bigger problem. So we as a company, as a team, we're able to get a lot closer, and we're able to really get to the heart of the matters with things. So that's what this retreat has awarded us, an opportunity to just get better as people.
That's beautiful. So the people, and I tell you, I am a newbie. I'm still working on I think I'm headed towards my 50th ride.
Woo! 50 and a newbie? Let's talk about it. Let's talk
It's a
about it.
lot. It's a
You
lot,
hitting
you
it.
know. I'm trying. I'm setting goals because you all push me. I'm even doing the all the different armed exercises and stuff. But a person who is trying to make a decision on the Soul Cycle bike, why should they choose Soul Cycle? Just from you.
I think a lot of who I am is the understanding that fitness is more than just the physical, right? We are human beings that are comprised of a couple of things. We have a heart, we have a soul, we have emotions, and then there's a physical self, right? With Soul Cycle, you're able to tap into all the elements, every single element of self, of who you are as human beings, the natural instinct of who we are. We're able to explore that in Soul Cycle. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm just here to work out. Great, because it is an incredible physical workout. As a track athlete, my first class was not easy at all. I was like, I'm not doing this again. But it gave me a challenge that I can accept. In addition to that, it allowed me to open up my mind, gain access to my heart, and allow my spirit to just have some good flow of energy. So it is no question that you should tap into the experience of Soul Cycle, because it's one of a kind.
How many, I was going to say, how many miles do you get in weekly, or how many classes are you able to do just to ride instead of instructing?
Personally, how I
Yes.
ride.
Yes.
So uh, I'm considered among my fellow peers.
Uh-huh.
They're like, Junior, you love to ride. I would teach a class, take two classes after, and then go home. That's just me. Yeah.
That's why your class is so challenging. Let me say this: it is your class. I break a sweat real quick, real quick. You are Mr. Turn one more time to
You
be.
better say it.
It's on a day that I need to challenge myself. I'm on my bike and I go, let me try Junior.
Love it.
Look,
Yeah.
I've only done 20 and 30 minutes. I have not elevated. I see the 60 minutes and the 45, and I was like, I'm not ready yet. I'm
Listen,
gonna get ready.
something to work towards. You see,
I'm
this
gonna
is
get
what
ready.
this is what Soul Cycle does for us. Give us something to work towards.
Yes,
Come on,
yes.
that's it, Kel.
You speak about you have a modeling agency. Did the modeling agency come once you started doing Soul Cycle? Because all of you all rock like the instructor page. All of you all look like models. How did you get into modeling?
So modeling was so I'm born and raised in Jamaica. I was signed to a modeling agency in Jamaica. Then when I migrated here, my agency in Jamaica connected me to an agency here, and I was signed to a modeling agency for about 2 years. From there on, I realized that a lot of people in the industry take advantage of talents, and I committed myself to creating a space where that is no more. So I wanted to tap into talents, beautiful people, of course, and give them an opportunity to create a brand for themselves without being exploited or taken advantage of. So that came before Soul Cycle. And then I started traveling to scout a little bit more. I went to South America, Guyana, Trinidad, went back to Jamaica sometimes. Definitely Caribbean beauty is more so what I represent, because I love to give back to my culture and who I am. So that's where the modeling aspect came in. I was one, understood the industry, then, became an agent.
Busy, you're busy. And, in addition to that, you also have you're a personal trainer. So you have a group fitness club, and the name of that is, you call it, yes, practice. Makes perfect.
We are a match made in heaven. Come on.
I'm with you. So you also do that. And, one thing that I find, I'm sure you are a newly U.S. citizen, pretty much. Congratulations. This was, and am I correct to say this was your first time voting?
Yes.
Congratulations. How did that feel for you?
I'm looking for the right word to express the feeling.
Yeah.
I'm just going to use the word necessary.
Absolutely.
Necessary. It came at, let me say this. I wish I was in a position where I had an opportunity to vet both candidates. But because of the importance and the necessity of what this country needed, I had no option. Let's
understand that.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
I mean, as someone who has a bachelor's in public administration and a master's in public policy, I understand the hierarchy of politics. So I knew that the country had no choice.
And we had to do what we had to do.
Had to do what we had to do.
And I love. I know that you speak so much. I love your monologue, and all the instructors' monologues helps me get through each minute. Because look, I am the cyclist. I have to scroll up and put the time zone and go, how much more do we have?
How long left?
Are we rapping? Is this the last song? I always look at the playlist and go, what's the last song? So when I see that, I'm like,
yeah, like
almost home.
Going home. We're
almost
going home.
Because I'm still trying to get the movement and the moves and pressing down
Yeah,
and all
it will
that.
come. It will come.
You say that. And I just continue to love myself. My last question for you is, as an instructor, you have had many students come into your class. Can you share some personal stories, some success stories of maybe weight loss, someone who was getting through mental depression or something? Can you share any stories?
If there are so many stories. Yeah. But without being specific, I feel like what I talked about earlier in what Soul Cycle is and why Soul Cycle should be the better option if you're thinking about cycling indoors, is because you are able to plant yourself on a bike that goes nowhere, yet the experience that you walk through is almost through every aspect of your life. It is a crazy juxtaposition how movement happens through the mind and the body on something that is so stable and stationary. So many people have gone through experiences of weight loss and depression. And without being specific, there was this one experience that has touched me so much, in that there's this lady who used to sit in the back of my class constantly. She never says anything. She comes in, get her workout done, and leave. And there was one day I played a song and she was like, I knew this was a moment that I needed to talk to you, because every day I came to class, you somehow spoke exactly to my experience. And today is the day that I celebrate being cancer free. And you played a song about celebrating going through the worst situations. And I was like, wow. So as instructors, I'm so glad how SoulCycle has molded us into allowing ourselves to be open and honest and transparent and organic, so that we're able to, through ourselves, tap into other people's experience, not knowing what we're doing, what we're saying, or who we're actually touching. So those experiences are the reason why we get up every day and do what we do.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, how can people follow you? How can people, sign up for practice? Let us know.
Oh, absolutely. Go onto my Instagram, JRL Kennedy. And the link is in the bio. But more importantly, get a SoulCycle bike.
That's right. Yeah.
Go ride. Get your groove on. It's fun, music. Every single experience you can think about in life, you're going to go through that in SoulCycle. And please go and do it for the culture. Come on.
That's right. Yeah, you know what? When you say that, the playlist, do you all create your playlist?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And what's your go-to songs? What are the songs that get people ramped up?
Listen, I'm born and raised Jamaican, fresh off the boat. I know that's stereotypical and we might not need to say that but I love me some reggae. That's my vibe. That's my energy. And it gets everyone going. I mean, who doesn't love a little reggae jam, huh?
That's true.
You just want to move on the bike. So my go-to genre is always reggae. But of course, my hip hop, my R&Bs, my little pop, all the moments you're going to get.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you, Junior Kennedy, SoulCycle instructor. You will see me touching one of your classes that are on the bike, or I'm gonna catch you in the studio live.
Right. I was just about to say that.
Yes. Yes.
Kelly, I need to see your name on the live Saturdays and Sundays. I
will be there. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, and congratulations and all the best in everything you do.
Thank you, Kel. Thank you for having me.
I love this.
It's First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid.